strife. Lift on high the virgin vine, now to heal the hurts of life. He that helper nothing daunts, down a friend or taunt a foe, never strive for liberty, show the path that life should go. He that buildeth trust in God, whither though the test may be, through all ages they are right, for they build it agony. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe truth is larger than any one book or way. Religion and science go hand in hand. Integrity requires freedom of conscience. Diversity is something to celebrate. In the struggle for justice, we come alive. Our highest aspiration and calling is love. Teacher, fate directs, moving on the old frontier. Though the fright and fear that faith be tomorrow's pioneer. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever path you are on, you are welcome here. We light our chalice this morning with these classic words: love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Well, welcome to West Shore on Mother's Day. Best place to be on a Sunday morning in Cleveland. Glad you are all here this morning. It is a beautiful day out there. Thank you for sacrificing a little bit of that beautiful day for the beauty that I hope you find in our space this morning. So much good that is going on in this community. Look in your order of service. You'll see your West Shore Weekly. So many things happening, going on. I do want to touch on two particular things. One is the Braver Angels, Families, and Politics workshop. This is Thursday, May 23rd. How do we talk about politics when families disagree? How can families do that? Talk politics. This workshop is free. It is open to the public. Registration is required, so take care of that. Braver Angels, if you did not already know, is the leading nation's largest cross-partisan, volunteer-led movement to bridge the partisan divide. It is leading in that national effort through community gatherings, real debates, and grassroots leaders working together. Braver Angels is creating hope and showing Americans a braver way. So check that out. And then I want to just mention briefly our pledge drive. Yes, 100% participation in our pledge drive means 100% charged up, 100% power, which would mean extraordinary capacity to fulfill our mission. So far, we are at 42%, so we've got a ways to go. What if we really stretched ourselves and we heard from all 100% of folks, or even 90% of folks? It'd be amazing. If we have not yet heard from you, please consider doing your part to help support West Shore. Any amount that you are able to pledge matters, will be much appreciated. Even if you can't make an annual pledge, let us hear from you anyhow. Let us know you are still engaged at West Shore. We are grateful for the participation of all folks in our community. Now, let me ask, if you are here for a first or second time and you do not mind people knowing, Would you raise your arm? Okay, it's just us. No visitors. Here's where we're really going to show what we are. You know, some people think we're a cult, right? We just do bad things behind closed doors. So let's do it today. No visitors. Yeah, that's right. So we're about, come on. I didn't even know what Dave was doing there. I didn't know. Was he like singing me off the stage or something? Dave Blazer, I know you, I got your number. So we're about to go into a time of greeting just with ourselves, the inner circle. Our kids, our children, they are welcome to go to their RE classes as we do that together. And we will be brought back to our service with the sounding of the bowl. So let's show each other our secret handshakes. All right, here we go. Let's do it. We come to this good morning, remembering the journey of freedom. The land we are on was once another's. We mourn the legacies of oppression. Healing is our way forward. Joy is the birthright of all.
Good morning. Well, that was nice. Thank you. My name is Kelly Pincus, and together with the wonderful Megan Ross, I co-chair the Partner Church Committee. About 25 years ago, members of West Shore began to establish a relationship with a church in Bagyon, Transylvania, Romania, our Unitarian homeland. Over the course of time, members from West Shore have made an annual pilgrimage to Bagyon, hosted our Transylvanian fellow church members here, and helped with numerous projects in the village, including helping with summer camp and offering help with the European Union grant that helped restore the church. Our relationship to the village and church runs deep and true. This year, a group of us will once again be traveling to Bagyon in July, helping with summer camp, traveling to important sites of our Unitarian history, and spending time with our Transylvanian friends. If you're interested in learning more about our trip or would like to join us, please reach out to Megan or I. It's not too late to sign up. One of the most important ways West Shore supports the church and village in Bagyon is by raising money for scholarships to the Unitarian High School in Kolishvar. Students apply to the rigorous program at the high school, and if accepted, they live on campus. Members at West Shore, through our generous support in the outreach offering like today's, provide the funds for these students to attend this prestigious high school. Our support has helped ensure these students have access to one of the best high schools in Romania, setting them up for a lifetime of success. Please give as generously as you are able. The offering will now be taken and gratefully received.
An excerpt from the final proposed Article 2 of the UUA bylaws.
Listen to how it sounds so different from our current 8 principles, which are listed in the back of your order of service. But they're also more alike than different.
As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant congregation to congregation and through our association to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love.
Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Inseparable from one another, these shared values are
interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We covenant to protect the earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships.
pluralism. we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and in theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect.
Justice. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions within our congregations, our association, and society at large.
Transformation. We adapt to a changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect.
Generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality.
Equity. We declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worth. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities.
This is our new statement of our Unitarian Universalist core values.
So, Donna, what do you think? Do you think that describes us? Describes where we're going?
I think so. You know, what attracted me to Unitarian Universalism, which was 36 years ago, were the 7 principles, which defined to me a community that valued common good over rugged individualism. And yet it also nurtured independent thinking. So for me, it's rewarding to be part of a religion that grows and changes as I grow and change. I find this new expression of our values very appropriate in this world that demands flexibility and openness. So yes, I believe that Article 2 addresses who we are, who we aspire to be, and also who we have been throughout our history.
Thank you, Donna. And that is a question that's before each of us in this space as our statement of our faith changes, is evolving. And now I invite you into our beautiful ritual of for all that is our lives. this community, you're fine, please. Into this community, we bring our joys and our sorrows, and this community receives them with responsibility and humility. And as for these prayer cards, I will take them into my meditations this week and pray for all that is our life. The Unitarian Universalist Association will actively engage its members in the transformation of the world through liberating love. This statement right here, this quote from the new version of Article 2, it is a first for us. It is a first for us as a faith tradition. In all the years of our existence, since Unitarianism and Universalism came together in 1961 to become Unitarian Universalism, none of our official denominational statements about our core values has mentioned love so prominently. And not just love, but love with a capital L. And here we are. When this year's General Assembly meets this June, our new proposed faith statement, an excerpt of which you heard Donna and myself share with you a moment ago, it's going to be up for a final vote at this General Assembly coming up. It takes two General Assembly votes over the course of 2 years to ensure that we aren't rushing into anything, and that there's going to be plenty of opportunities for people to speak up and share their opinions. If the majority vote is to approve that this June, then that change is going to take place. Our principles are going to be replaced by values with love at the center. And post-June, when you flip the order of service over, you're going to see different language there. And a lot of other changes will ensue as well, so we can highlight our new values statement. It was 39 years ago that our current principles were voted in, and honestly, it took years before they caught on, honestly. And we should expect the same thing to happen when this newest version is approved. It's going to take some time before you and I fully absorb the new changes and wrap our heads around all that is implied. And that's okay. That's okay. We need to allow ourselves that time. That is just a natural part of the process. And today's sermon is meant to help with this, specifically for us to wrap our minds around what love at the center might really look like. But to do that, I want us to zoom out first. I want us to get a big picture sense of love. Let's do this first, and then we will zoom back in to the specific language of the proposed Article 2, which is what those General Assembly delegates will be voting on in less than 2 months. And so, zooming out, the big picture about love. The big picture. Love exists in 2 basic modes. One is love in the fundamental mode of being, and the other is love in the mode of doing. Love as being and love as doing. Let's start with love as being. And I want you to listen to how one of the songs in our hymnal, there's many of these songs, but how one of these songs in particular invokes this sort of love, this being love. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are. Return to where you are born and reborn again. This is a lovely, haunting song. And it speaks about people's fundamental identity, the home of the soul, which is who and what and where you and I are born and reborn again. It is unabashedly mystical. And the idea of it is nothing new with us at all. Religions around the world, they proclaim that every person has an identity which is ultimate and fundamental, deeper and more real than any of our socially conditioned identities, deeper and more real than a person's race or gender or sexual orientation or class, and so on. Christianity calls this deeper identity being a child of God. Buddhists call it Buddha mind. Hindus call it Atman, and on and on. And above all, note that there is nothing that you or I could ever do to earn this identity or to create it. We are born with it. We don't have to first build the home of our soul before we can return to it. It is already there. It's already got power. The power is already full. And where our choice around doing is concerned, well, it's limited to returning. Shall we return or not? But separate and apart from all of that, the home exists. It is hardwired within us. Being a child of God, being Buddha mind, being Atman, our fundamental spiritual identity is natural to us. And do you want to know what proclaims this truth about ourselves, this love as our fundamental being? Something that proclaims this truth about ourselves in a way that is profound and can just knock your socks off. You want to know about this way? Thank you for your affirmation there. The rest of you are like, I don't know. Let's talk about video games instead. No. I want to tell you about this way. It's the natural world. The natural world. The natural world outside of us is one of the most powerful magnets for triggering awareness, for drawing forth this natural sense of our ultimate identity, this essential sacred self. The natural world is a magnet drawing that forth so easily. Nature outside of us helps tune us in to the spiritual nature within. I want you to listen to Mary Oliver, okay? Her beautiful poem, When I Am Among the Trees. Listen. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself in which I have goodness and discernment and never hurry throughout the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me, the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say, and you too have come into this world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. That's the poem. When we are connecting with the love that is our fundamental being, like the trees, we go easy. Like the trees, we are filled with light. Like the trees, we shine. We are, in other words, put in touch with our essential wholeness, and this gives us courage and strength when it is indeed time to act. This is love in the mode of being, our being. I want you to go back for a moment to the insight that this sort of love is ours, and there is nothing we have ever done to earn it. It is, in other words, a gift of grace. A child is born, and they inherit one parent's beautiful green eyes, They inherit their other parent's lovely smile. Both the green eyes and the smile are gifts of grace. So is that child's inherent worth and dignity. It is a gift of God or of the universe. It is a gift to that child as well as to the parents and to everyone, to you and to me. Beyond that, the love that we fundamentally are is the source of our human potentials. Some of these we share with everyone. Potentials for peace, for joy, courage, creativity, empathic living, compassion, and so on. Other potentials, however, may be ours alone. It's like having a certain unique sense of humor, or a certain talent for playing the piano or the organ, or particular strength in managing big picture projects, and so on. These more unique potentials are also gifts of grace. They're just in us. And then there is that mysterious but very real pressure in you and in me to grow in the direction of fulfilling our potentials. There is an impetus, there is a restlessness, there is an impatience. Through yoga, I was introduced to the concept of Shakti energy, which is the spiritual energy that drives you and I towards greater wholeness. And if there is anything for us at all to do about it, it is to subtract all that blocks it. It is to take away the blocks, just get out of its way. It has its own intelligence. It has its own sense of timing. If there is anything to do, just let it be. Let it happen. This is all love in the mode of being, our being, separate and apart from any doing. It is the reality of grace in our lives. And awareness of this mode of love, it changes everything. It is the beautiful thing that the great Italian Renaissance artist Michelangelo once said about sculpting. He said, "Every block of stone has a statue inside it, and it is the task of the sculptor to discover it. I saw," he says, "the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." In other words, you don't have to try so hard in your world. The meaning in a piece of marble and the meaning of our lives, it already exists, and our work is to uncover it. The work of uncovering is hard enough, but we don't have to make it so very hard by believing that everything that we and everything else means starts at zero, right? Starts at zero. To believe that we start at zero where our lives are concerned, the meaning of our lives, the purpose of our lives, it's not only false, it spurs on despair. It spurs on the sickness of perfectionism and pride and burnout and compassion fatigue. So much is undone, writes my colleague, the Reverend Vanessa Southern. So much to do, so much to heal in us and in the world. So much to acquire: a meal, a healthy body, a fit body, a lover, a job, a better job, proof that we have and are enough, just around the corner of now. And up against it, she continues, up against it, the reality of all that falls short. And the limits of today, we must honor these limits. If your body won't do what it used to do, for right now, let it be enough. If your mind won't stop racing or can't think of the word, let it be enough. If you are here utterly alone and in despair, be all of that here with us. If today you cannot sing because your throat hurts or you don't have the heart for music, be silent. When the offering plate goes around, if you don't have money to give or the heart to give, let it pass. The world will not stop spinning on her axis if you don't rise to all occasions today. Love won't cease to flow in your direction. Your heart won't stop beating. All hope won't be lost. You are part of the plan for the world's salvation. Of that I have no doubt. The world needs its oceans of people striving to be good, to carry us to the shores of hope and wash fear from the beachheads and cleanse all wounds so they can heal. But oceans are big, and I am sure there are parts that don't feel up to the task of the whole some days. Rest, if you must, then. Like the feel in your bones, in your weary heart, the aching, healing sense that this is enough, even this, that we are enough, you are enough, enough. And that is the poem. But what I want you to see is that you are enough only because of grace. You are enough. You can rest sometimes. You can honor your limits because we don't start at zero where goodness is concerned. The goodness, the love as being, is always already there, and our job is simply to find healthy ways to support its expression. It is the goodness and grace that we can sense when you and I are among the trees. It is the grace that we sing of when we sing, "Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul." But now it is time we turn to love in its other mode, love in the mode of doing. Yes, the angel in the marble already exists. Yes, the love that we are is a sense of ultimate identity centered in our inherent worth and dignity. It is filled with inspiring potentials. It is hardwired to grow by an inner impetus and pressure. But every nature needs nurture. Nature is the block of stone. A sculptor is needed to reveal it. Therefore, we have this second sense of love, which is love as something one does. Love in this second sense amounts to actions a person chooses to take, even if it feels scary at the time or inconvenient, so as to support another person's highest good or to support that in oneself. Love as something one does can look like deep listening and allowing another person to have center stage for a time. It can look like an encouraging word to someone who looks down. It can look like a gift of time or talent or money in service to loving kindness. It could look like a gentle reminder to someone that they have done something hurtful, and this is not who they are to you. This is not who you know them to be. And so on. Love as doing can take so many looks. Love that is a chosen action to support another person's highest good and growth, or one's own multitude of forms. And one could equally not choose these actions. They may or may not happen. And right here is yet another reason why it is imperative that we distinguish between the two different modes of love. The love that is the substance of who a person is doesn't depend on choices. A person's inherent worth and dignity is a fact. It never stops being a fact. I don't care what your choices are. The human potentials that a person is born with, some more generic, others more specific, they can't be earned. You're just born with them. The pressure to fulfill these potentials, it is hardwired in us. You can't choose that either. Yet, so much depends on how nature is nurtured. Love as doing serves love as being. Every act of love helps a person uncover their spiritual star. that they already are. But every act of neglect or cruelty covers up that inner star even more. Trauma creates scar tissue on your soul. And that hardened stuff, it can make it extremely difficult to uncover the love that is within. A lifetime of scars can imprison many of the potentials a person is born with and can dam up the inbuilt hardwired pressures to grow. And now we can zoom back. We can zoom back in on the specific language of the proposed Article 2 statement, which puts love at the center of our faith. We can come back to this now. I have two things I want to say about this. One is that the proposed Article 2 statement, when it speaks of love, it speaks only of love in the mode of doing. It calls us to express love through the values of interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity. We shall know we are loving in the mode of doing. Okay, we shall know that if we covenant to protect earth and all beings from exploitation. If we covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. If we covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. If we covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. If we covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, our presence, and our resources. If we covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. We shall know we are loving in the mode of doing to the extent that we are doing all of those things. Covenanting is doing. Love in the mode of doing. And you know, God bless it, let's do it, right? Let's do that stuff. The world needs that stuff. The world needs us to act out of that sense of covenant. The traumas of life do indeed leave plenty of scars on us, and the results are horrible. Let the love that is a matter of doing abound. Let there be more and more interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity. I'd love to hear an amen there. Thank you very much. Elizabeth, you are on the ball this morning. Thank you, dear. Yeah, we want more of that stuff. But now comes my second thing to say, the last thing I want to say. The proposed Article 2 does not change a problem that has existed for us as a faith community ever since the formation of the UUA. My opinion, and it is an imbalanced vision of the spiritual life, an imbalanced vision. Ever since 1961, every Article 2 has envisioned Unitarian Universalism as a faith tradition that is all about doing. Being is an essential component of the spiritual life, but no Article 2 statement has ever seriously acknowledged this, including the present and proposed versions. I want you to consider how writer E.B. White once said this. I've said it a million times. I'll say it a million more times. It's just a great quote. He said, "I arise in the morning, torn between a desire to improve or save the world and a desire to enjoy or savor the world. This makes it hard to plan the day." Okay? Now, there is nothing in the proposed Article 2 that's about savoring. There is nothing there that's about returning again to the home of your soul, the home that you have done nothing to build. It is there in you. You're born with it. There is nothing in the proposed Article 2 about being among the trees or about facing the enormity of the world's problems and saying, enough. It's okay for me to take a break. It's enough. We're enough. Believing that it is not all up to you or us to fix the world. The problems of the world are bigger than even the actions of us all. There's nothing in there about that. The underlying theology of the proposed Article 2 seems to be exclusively works-oriented. Liberatory love is portrayed as only a thing that people express through their individual efforts. However, religions worldwide warn us that an exclusively works orientation tends to encourage both spiritual perfectionism and spiritual pride. When grace is nowhere in the picture, you better believe spiritual perfectionism and spiritual pride are going to rush in to fill the vacuum, and it is destructive. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to vote yes on the new proposed Article 2. But I am also aware that our growth as a spiritual movement is a long arc. And it's going to take a long time to fully develop. We're a baby faith, and we need more development. I believe that this is our cutting edge as a movement, honoring and drawing on the love that is our birthright, the love that is our fundamental being, the love that is separate and apart from any efforts of doing. Again, no faith statement I'm aware of in our history since 1961 has ever touched on this. But it is not alien to the much longer history of our source traditions. From our universalist heritage in particular, we find a clear affirmation of the love that always already holds the universe, which is above and beyond all individual efforts to love. Through our newest version of our Ten Commandments, okay, is still spoken of. It is still spoken of among us. When we sing of returning to the home of our soul, or when we are among the trees and we remember who we really are, or when we must honor our personal limits and trust that we are enough. Did you listen carefully to the words of that beautiful hymn that the choir sang a moment ago? The two kinds of love are in there. Let me parse it down for you. Though I may speak with bravest fire. Though I may speak with bravest fire, that's love is doing. And have the gift to all inspire, love is doing. And have not love, that's love is being. My words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give all I possess, that's love is doing. And striving so my love profess, that's love is doing. But not be given by love within, love is being. The prophet soon turns strangely thin. And then the last verse. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control, our spirits long to be made whole. Let inward love guide every deed. By this we worship and are free. That's love as being. How many of you have ever heard the distinction between love as doing and love as being? Great, I didn't think so. And we need to be literate about it. Because if love is going to be at our center, we need to know the two different modes, and we need them both. We need to live them both. I am so grateful that even though in our formal faith statements, love as being is never acknowledged, even though that is the case, my opinion, we have so many songs and rituals among us that bring love as being to our attention. We just need to acknowledge that. We need to know that. We need to know that. These are threads in the larger fabric of our faith, which have yet to be seen officially for what they are. But boy, without them, without love as being, we are in trouble. I hope that it shall be so in future denominational statements of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I hope it shall be so that love as being gets lifted up. But you know, as for you and me right now, it can't wait for that. Right now, we must know that there are two modes of love. Love as being, love as doing. Interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, equity. Of course, these are the things to do. Do them. But don't forget the home of your soul. Don't forget to be among the trees. The trees will tell you who you are. Don't forget to respect your limits and rest, and to know that, yes, you are enough. Amen. There is much more to you than you're doing. First and foremost, remember to just be. Remember that amazing grace doesn't belong to Christianity. Amazing grace is real. Amen. Let's say our extinguishing the chalice words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us until we meet again. Of the home of your soul, to which you may return again and again to be born and reborn. May you experience the amazing grace of a stand of trees or space in a wilderness area, and you are among nature, and nature is whispering to you, reminding you who you really are. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. May it be so. May it be so. Go in peace. Is that okay with your arm?